This is Scott the Fixer Guy. Today we have a GE profile refrigerator and the controls are not responding. The light is on the inside, but I don't hear the fans. So I think it's a control board. I'm going to pull it out away from the cabinet. I'll unplug it. And now I'm going to remove these 1/4-inch screws on the back of this panel. Underneath this panel is the control board, and we're going to take a look at it and maybe replace it. Sometimes like a power spike can fry some of the components. So we got the panel off. Looking at it, there's a little fuse here in the upper left-hand corner. It looks good. These two look bad. These are resistors. They look pretty burned up. So that's probably our culprit. You could solder in some new resistors. We're just going to put in a new board. So we got it unplugged. And now we're just going to remove these little modular wire connectors. Some of these you can just pull off. This one's kind of hard to get off because it's you gotta push it to the left. It's in there pretty hard, so I'm going to use a screwdriver to kind of give me more leverage. Wiggle and push, get this thing off of the 3 terminals. The other ones come off pretty easy. This one's you got to wiggle, pull, push. It'll come off though. Be a little bit patient. So these controllers for this model are about $130 on Amazon. We'll put a link in the description below so you can order one. And we'll talk about in the video today some of the things that may have caused this board to go bad. So I'm using my needle nose pliers to help pull off these modular connectors. And you could take a photograph of where these go before you remove them, but I think they only go one way. They're different sizes, so there'll be a long one that'll only fit on the long modular connector, a short one, a medium one. So I don't think you can get it wrong. So we got those off. Here's one. I'm gonna wiggle and pull. Got that off. And then there's just a little plastic connector here. I'm going to squeeze in. It's hard to see on the camera, but I'm going to squeeze in with my needle nose pliers. And if I squeeze it, then I can pull the board over it and get it off. There we go. So now we've freed up the old control board. Get that off. We got a new one from Amazon. I think they got it to us in about 4 days, 2 days, which is pretty good. In the meantime, you could put party ice in your refrigerator to help keep things cold so you don't lose your food. So we did call around to different appliance part houses, but this one was just not obtainable without about a 2-day wait. So we're putting the new board on now. We're going to plug in these modular connectors and we're going to wiggle them in, make sure they're lined up, and we're going to push them in as far as they can go. You don't have to put them in any certain order, but we're starting here on the right hand side. And I like to leave the board disconnected while I do this because it allows me to get a little bit more view of what I'm doing. And then once they're on there, I can go ahead and just push the board onto the 4 white plastic pins that are connected to the refrigerator. It's pretty cool. You just push in, they line up with holes on the control board, and they go right in there really easy. So just take your time, make sure you line up all the metal pins carefully, and then if you think you got them lined up, then you can push in. And then once you push in, just keep pushing until it's fully seated. So this control board controls all kinds of aspects of this refrigerator. These modern refrigerators all have these control boards, and they can get fried pretty bad from power outages. When the power comes back on, a lot of times there's a spike, and the spike can just burn up some of the components. These are little extra modular pieces that go for other models. Don't worry about those. They don't go onto this control board. So it's really good to put a surge protector on your power supply. We'll show you how to do that in the end of the video here. I'll put a link for one at the bottom. But they are easy to put in. You just plug it into the wall, and then you plug your refrigerator into the surge protector. So we're putting this gray one on. I'm coming in at a little bit of an angle, and I'm going to wiggle and push it in, and then I'll use a screwdriver to give me a little bit more leverage behind it so I can fully seat it. I want to push it as far as I can to my right. I've already put the board onto the 4 plastic pins to help hold the board as I wiggle this one on. I got these two. One is a black connector and there's a white connector, and they are also color coded to where they go on the control board, so you can't get them mixed up. All right, and this is a ground wire, and it has to be hooked up here at the top. And just want to show you guys again, this is the part that was burned up, these 2 resistors. I think they control the fan, but if they go out, the whole board goes out. You can see on the back too, it's all burned up. They just got too hot. So we're going to put the panel back on. We're going to line up that ground wire with the screw, and we're going to push it into position, and we'll tighten that one first. Now I'm taking off this bottom panel. This is interesting. It's made out of cardboard. Sometimes they're cardboard, sometimes they're metal. I want to get that off and take a look at the components underneath. And also I want to clean up the evaporator coil, which is this round thing. I'm going to use some compressed air. Put a link in the description below if you want to get some compressed air. And it's pretty cool. It's canned air. 1 can should do the trick. It has a little nozzle, and it helps you get in to clean this up. We call these squirrel cages sometimes because it looks like something a mouse or a squirrel would run on. But they're a little bit hard to clean by using a vacuum or a brush. So compressed air is pretty good. When they get clogged up, it can make the refrigerator run too much. I'm going to also put in this 3-in-1 start mechanism, and this takes the place of the relay and the overload pieces that hook up to the compressor. This shows how to do the wiring. It's pretty simple. There's a black wire goes to the common pin, white goes to the start, red goes to run, and those are the little pins that come off of your compressor. And then you have the 2 power wires. You can hook up those 2 power wires either way to the incoming power. So we'll do the power wires first. So we got these 2 black wires. Again, don't worry about mixing them up. Either wire to either power wire from the refrigerator will be fine. We took off the insulators. So we're going to take this one already had a 3-in-1 starter. We're going to take off the old one. Hook up this power wire here, and it comes with some nice wire nuts. We'll get that on there, twist to our right, get it on there really tight, and then we'll do the same thing for the next power wire. It's going to hook up to the orange wires that are coming from the refrigerator that bring power to the 3-in-1 starter, and the 3-in-1 starter brings the power to the compressor. It's a pretty cool thing. It's fairly inexpensive, and it takes the place of 2 of the other components that often go bad on a refrigerator, the overload and the relay, and also takes the place of the capacitor, the start capacitor. If you were to buy all those parts together, they're pretty expensive, but 3-in-1s I think are only about 25 bucks. So I just pulled off the old red wire, and I'm going to replace it with the new red wire from the new 3-in-1. I'm going to put it on the pin. This is the upper left pin coming out of the compressor. I'm going to put it on, push it on so it's on there as far as it'll go. Pull off the white one. I'll put that on the upper left pin. And I'm just going to wiggle it on to the pin, push it in as far as it'll go. And then the bottom one, that's the one that's kind of in the middle of a upside down triangle. That one is the common one, and that's a black wire. I'm going to pull that off, the old one. I'll get the old 3-in-1 out of there. And then I'll put on the new black wire. These old, the 3-in-1s can also fail if you get too much dust on your evaporator coils and then your compressor's running all the time. It'll blow the little overload, kind of like a fuse. That's probably what happened with this one. So I'm just making sure that those are all on there nice and snug and that they're not near touching each other. I want to separate, make sure the metal, no metal is next to the other metal. I'll go ahead and plug it in, and now I can feel the compressor vibrating, which means that it's active, it's compressing the gases. You can also feel these, you got to give it maybe 5 minutes, but you can feel these tubes. So one will feel cold and one will feel hot. And that's a good sign. So the cold one is the compressed gases, and the hot one is the heat coming from inside the refrigerator that's being pulled out of the refrigerator. You can also see the little fan spinning, so that's a good sign. Everything's working. So we'll put on this little cover in the back. You got to make sure you don't leave these off, but you do put them back. They're important. So I'm putting on these screws to tighten it. Just a little compressed air. It's a little bit dirty in there. Get some of that dust off. So these things just get dusty over time because they're pulling in air next to them. Now we got the light, works good. Press this little button and it turns on, it fires up, so that's good. So we're getting power back to our display board. We press the colder button and we can see that the refrigerator was off. So we'll press it again and now it's going to start cooling. It's just showing us our current temperatures inside the refrigerator. So 0 and 37 is good. 0 for the freezer, 37 or 38 for the fridge. I'm going to put in that surge protector. So I pull off the power cord. Here's a nice surge protector. These are pretty inexpensive. And I'll go ahead and plug in the new surge protector. Then I'll plug the refrigerator into that. And I can feel it's getting colder. I do notice some water down there at the bottom. I should get that out of there. Just use some paper towels. That's at the bottom of the freezer. Nice and cold air coming in. Thanks so much for watching our video today. I hope that this video has saved you some time and money. And if so, could you please press down in the video description below the donation link and send us a donation so we can keep this service going. Thanks again. And if you have any questions about this repair, could you contact me at scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. And also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions. And also, if you need to have a FaceTime meeting with me or a Zoom meeting, you can click on one of the links below in the description and we can set up a 15-minute or 30-minute video conference where we can work on your appliance problem. So thanks again for all your support and for watching the video.